I don't have any scientific proof, but I think the three most asked questions of the Beatles were, when is the bubble going to burst? Why'd you break up? Are you going to get back together? Now, if you think about it, those three questions, number one, they're all a little bit, they're intrusive. A couple of them are kind of dumb, okay? But they're all very personal, aren't they? It's almost like if you had these two people, like this couple, you really liked them, you cared about them, you'd known them for years, and they meet and they fall in love and they get married and they're newlyweds, and you just really enjoy being around. They make you feel good. They're so cuddly and snuggly, and they're all so sweet together. You feel like, oh my gosh, I really love this. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel like I can find love too. An ugly old like mofo like me, like I can find love too. Like you believe that and you have this dream. Okay. And even though these two people, one person is from this side of the country, this person from this other side of the country, and there's a bit of an age difference there, and they're very different people. And you would think that it wouldn't work, but against all the odds, it does. And it's just like magic. And you really just love being around them. And then before you know it, you're kind of saying, okay, I hope they stay together. It's like, and you begin to worry. You begin to worry, and you begin to see things that just aren't there. And you do ask, like, when is the bubble going to burst? Like, oh my God, like, are you, like, why is she giving you a dirty look? Is everything okay? Like, what's happening? And the guy looks at you like everything is fine. What the heck is wrong with you, man? And that still doesn't make you feel good. You keep on looking around like you hope it stays good. You want to stay in control, but you want that dream to keep on going because you're so invested in it. Like if they fail, then you feel like you're going to feel like it's all going to be over. And then when they finally do break up, when this lovely young couple who really do care about each other, and they say, you know what, we're outgrowing the relationship. We were just kids when we got married, and we thought we knew what we wanted. And it was really good for us. It was a fantastic ride, etc. But, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do this. I'm moving away, and I got this other opportunity here. We still care about each other. We still love each other. We're going to still kind of communicate with each other. We're still going to be in our lives, but in different ways. And you hear that and you go, wait just a minute, that is just not happening. You're in denial and you start kind of making things up again. It's like, no, there's got to be more to it than that. It's like somebody cheated, somebody robbed a bank. It's got to be something huge that happened that made my dream over. It's like, it just can't be like this. It just can't be that. I mean, because it feels so bad and it's just so unimaginable. It's not just this thing that says, oh, we outgrew each other. Which is exactly what happened with the Beatles. Like they outgrew each other. And that was their answer. It's like, we're getting a divorce.
Because when they broke up, it was like a very painful divorce.
They were like a newlywed couple. They had loved each other since they were kids. It worked together so well. They had the same dreams. They believed in each other. All they wanted to do was make a record and, become a little bit famous and go to America and all that. And it got really big. Okay. And their egos became subjugated. They became Beatles, and they lost John, Paul, George, and Ringo along the way. And then somewhere in the latter 60s, after Brian Epstein passed, it really did begin to fracture, and they became aware of that fact. And they said, okay, it doesn't really feel good to be Beatles anymore. And they had all these other interests outside of the Beatles. Yeah, you could say maybe it was a bit of an affair, but it was just a symptom of them feeling like suffocated, claustrophobic. The Beatles became not this great vehicle that gave them so much. It worked in the beginning.
The thing that it started out being, it gave us a vehicle to be able to do so much when we were younger, and then we grew right through that. But it got to a point where it was stifling us. There was too much restriction. It had to self-destruct.
Worked for everybody in the beginning. But somewhere along the way, it became like a cage, a prison, suffocated them, stopped them in their tracks. They couldn't grow anymore, so they outgrew it, man. Just like a lot of things we outgrow in life as time goes by. And as an artist, you need that room to grow and to create. You're driven. And that just never stops. Growth just never stops, man. Okay. You know what happens when growth stops? Kind of keel over, man. So the Beatles didn't want that. So they decided to stay alive. They decided to save themselves. Okay. Before it was too late. They said, okay, we're breaking up. Okay. Yeah. I have like Yoko over here. and she believes in me. She reinvigorated me as an artist, reminded me I'm John Lennon, and she inspires me. And Paul McCartney said, you know what? Like, yeah, there's this woman over here, like Linda. She is mature, she's complex, and she's absolutely fascinating, and she's challenging, and she's more than a match for me. And that's incredible. I really love that man. And George, he's like Ravi Shankar, Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, and the band, all these people who say, wow, George, you're kind of awesome. You're fantastic, you know? And George is just like this. And he can't go back to that winter of discontent, okay? Can you see that? I mean, isn't that like a reason that you can believe in? Okay, it's not, yeah, there's a lot of other things going on. The same thing with Ringo, man. Like, he quit. He quit because he felt uncomfortable, like he didn't belong, like he wasn't one of them. And so he goes out and he finds his own group of friends, and he finds his own, you know, artistic outlet there, and becomes an actor and does all that and says, okay, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel great in a different way. I'm finding, so they're all finding themselves or rediscovering themselves like in new ways. And they're just can't be those kids again. You know, they outgrew the Beatles. It was just going to end, man. But obviously we're all invested in the Beatles, and we just can't believe it because we think like, oh my God, the dream is over. And like, what's going to happen to me now? And isn't that selfish? But that's just how it is, because we relate to them and we don't want the party to end. And Derek Taylor, the love of my life, he really does. He knows how to put words out. He really knows how to put into words the magic of the Beatles. And on April 10th, 1970, he put out a statement that kind of straddles the line between, you know, the old dream and the new reality there, trying to make everybody kind of understand and to feel a little bit better, like soften the blow, shall we say. Derek says, spring is here and Leeds play Chelsea tomorrow, and Ringo and George and John and Paul are alive and well and full of hope. The world is still spinning, and so are we, and so are you. When the spinning stops, that'll be the time to worry, not before. Until then, the Beatles are alive and well, and the beat goes on. The beat goes on. So here's Derek saying that maybe something is different here. They're alive and well in another form, and everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. But you know what? That's really just not enough, is it? Because Paul McCartney puts out his album, and everybody kind of goes nuts. And really, the Beatles are over for sure now. So people are still mourning. Like a few days later, and Derek writes in Disc and Music Echo magazine, April 25th, 1970, Derek is addressing, you know, all the controversy of Paul releasing the McCartney album and everybody kind of blaming Linda and the kids and everything. Everybody's got to find a scapegoat, because it can't just be that they outgrew each other. The dream just can't be over for this esoteric reason, like they outgrew each other. Okay, that just can't happen. Everybody has to have it be a certain way. So Derek writes, so brothers and sisters, this is the truth about Paul McCartney. He cannot make that Beatle scene anymore, because what we know as the Beatles and love as the Beatles and prize and valued and changed our lives by is not what it was. It's a hang-up. It's a drag. And it's a prison for four souls screaming for freedom. Why would you not want to let the Beatles out of that cage? You know, this is Derek saying, hey man, it's not about you. It's about John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And I don't know how many people got it. Maybe some people did. I mean, it's still not going to make everything better. But this is why I'm saying he's like the love of my life, man. Because he does kind of let us know that, okay, let's make it be about the Beatles. This is good for them. This is what's really happening. It's not about anything else other than it's a prison and it's a cage and they're screaming to get out. Let them out if you love them. Because the dream really isn't, and this is me saying that, and probably other people too saying, the dream really isn't over, is it? It's still out there, man. It's still that we still have what they gave us, and we're still feeling it like to this day.
It wasn't only the music, was it? It was something beyond that, and that's what we're talking about. I think all the time we're talking beyond the music.
But even Derek was wondering a few years later in 1973, he was wondering, like, did that dream ever happen? So even Derek was still kind of dealing with, like, the Beatles really broke up. Did it ever really happen? Well, what Derek wrote, did it all happen? All of it? Or was it a dream? Did George actually sit in the Whiskey A Go-Go with the other three and Jane Mansfield, throwing a whiskey over Mamie Van Doren? Or was it a Coca-Cola? You must be joking. None of it ever happened.
Have you met the Beatles at all, the other members?
Yes, John, I have.
Have you talked to them about getting back together again?
Yes, John, I have.
Do you think they're agreeable?
Well, I don't know, John.
Even though Derek and others were so eloquent and we all saw the Beatles moving on with their individual lives and their individual solo careers, we were all still wondering in the 70s, like, when are you going to get back together? Again, very selfish. Can you please go back, into that space that was so awful for you? And it was no wonder that they were saying, hell no, we're just not going to have, that's just not going to happen. But later on, when things kind of calmed down and they weren't doing the diss tracks and everything like that, when they were on speaking terms, they were, maybe. But I think that they were never going to get back together again, at least not in the 70s. I don't think that was going to happen. I think that they just want to keep the peace. Okay. Just like with, like, when is the bubble going to burst? They just had to say that, well, you don't know. Or they were just joking around with it. So I think to a certain degree, they all kind of decided, well, you just never know. That was a good answer. Well, you just never know.
I think over the period of being apart, we've all thought, oh, that wouldn't be nice. That wouldn't be bad,
That kind of gave everybody something to chew on. Okay. And I think it's better. I think when it comes to, like, the Beatles breaking up and when is the bubble going to burst and why did you break up, etc., putting something finite there, I think people are just not going to believe it. People are just going to believe whatever it is that they're going to believe. And so that's why I feel like they just say, you just never know. Well, we don't know when the bubble's going to burst. We don't know. Maybe we'll get to back together. And but they really were definite, and they were all on the same page when it came to, like, this is why we broke up. So it must have been true. And that's why I believe it. But again, I don't blame people for wanting the Beatles to get back together again. Because like Derek said, Derek Taylor, again, my hero, the love of my life, he said, it was the only dream I ever had that came true. I love them for it, the Beatles.
I think that the Beatles have changed so many lives that the need for them still exists, the hope that they represent still exists, and as long as that exists, then they have to exist.
See, I'm not getting back
Paul and I
together.
are going to do some stadiums next year. Mud wrestling together. Mud wrestling. I think we could pull it off too.
I'll be the ref.
And the beat goes on. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really and truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace and love one another. Take care.
No, I say, it's just one of those things. If it happens, it happens.